Fine. So yesterday we started Angular. We created a basic project. Inside the project, I have explained what are the files we have, what the importance of those files. So once you create the project, this is the folder structure what we get. Correct? Yeah. Just a minute. Let me send details. Okay. So first file was package.json. What is the purpose of package.json? What is the purpose of package.json?
Dependencies or
Dependencies, dev dependencies, and normal dependencies to store.
But what do we mean by it? What do we store over there?
what the topic is to someone.
No, your
What
voice
are
is
the
coming for
packages
very
that
long.
are inside?
See, it's very easy. Whenever you answer something, right, your answer should be very, simple English words. It should not be very fancy. It should not be very technical. What is package.json? Package.json contains all the libraries or the packages what we are going to use in our Angular project. That is simple. Okay. So interviewer will also now won't again ask sub question to your answer. Okay. So package.json is there. All the packages along with the version, it is mentioned over here. Then angular.json. What is the purpose of angular.json? Anyone? What's the use of angular.json?
We can mention the configurations.
Right? Angular is a project. All every project will have some configuration, some settings. So angular.json is that file. So it contains all the setting and the configuration of our Angular project. Fine. Then we have tsconfig. So tsconfig file is a compiler setting file. So in Angular, we work with TypeScript. TypeScript has a compiler. So some settings are related to TypeScript compiler. So that are over here. So these are the three important file outside the folder. Then inside src folder, we have index.html. This is the single page what we talk about. Here your whole our Angular application loads. This is selector of your app component. By default, your app component is a parent component. Then we have main.ts. Main.ts is an execution point, starting point of our Angular application. From here, your Angular application start. So here you can see bootstrapping application. So here we provide which component we have to load by default and what is my app config. So two things we pass it over here. Then style.css. This is component, means this is overall component. If you need some CSS classes, so that you declare it over here, global CSS. These are the files inside the src folder. Then we go inside the app folder. All the coding and everything we write inside the app folder only. App.ts, app.spec.ts, app.html, app.css. These four files are for the app component. Then we have app config. App config is a small replacement of your app module. Here we just have the dependencies, nothing else. Okay. Then we have app route.ts. This is where we create the routes. We will see it further. Then we have created component. What is the command to create the component?
ng generate command, generate component.
Right? ng generate component name. That is the command.
Yeah.
So yesterday we created some component. In component folder, admin and the user. Now in admin component, again we get four file. User component, again we get four file. If we open admin.ts and user.ts. So here if you see, we got some selector above the class. Okay, this is your TypeScript class. See, export class user. In JavaScript also we have class, just like that in TypeScript also we have class. So in which ES6 version we got class in JavaScript? This is an intro question, right? In which ES6 version we got JavaScript class? Those who are giving interviews. ES6 only. Okay. ES6 was the major change where we got late const, promise, class, template return, arrow, function, spread operator, rest operator. So many things were there. Fine. So above the class, you can see component. So this is decorator. In component decorator, we have some things: selector, import, template URL, style URL. So for this component, what is the HTML file? So this HTML file. Which CSS file we are going to use? So this, same like it over here. Selector. Selector is a unique identifier for every component. If we use this to render one component into another component. So if you check our app component, so here you can see we are using the selector of those components, right? So in app component, we are rendering admin component and the user component. But to load it, we have to import their classes into import statement. See, admin and the user class we have imported. Okay. Now here you might say ki admin.css, admin.html, admin.ts. Previously, I think 18 or 19, we got this new thing that, previously we used to have that admin.component.css, admin.component. Component word was there in between after dot. But now they have removed it. It is just plain HTML and CSS file. Even if it's a service, dot pipe, right? That pipe, dot service, dot directive, that word got removed. It is plain that specific file and the extension only. Okay. Now consider you have created a component with user and you created a service also user with the user name only. So now you have two classes with the same name, user.ts, which is a component, user.ts, which is service. So sometimes when you use, you might sometimes instead of using user.service, you might use user.component also. Okay. So now whenever you are creating service, in the name itself, you have to add user service while creating. Previously, we just used to create ng generate service that you used to add user.service.ts, but that service name is not there, right? So we will see that. So that component word is removed now. It is just plain .css, HTML and .ts file. Okay. Now, so today we will start our variable declaration. How variable declarations are there and a basic introduction to the TypeScript. So let me run the project. Terminal. What is the command to run the project?
NG, sir.
NGS.
NGS. Just a minute. NG serve. So in component, I will create one more folder, one more component. In component folder, I will create one more folder. Ng generate component variables or data types, we will say. Data types. Whenever your component name is a combination of two words, use camel case. First word small case, second word first character capital. Fine. So we created our component, but by default it won't render, right? So we need to add this component into our app component. So over here, we will add our data types class. Say it is suggesting component data type. Then in the HTML, we can import it. Now I'm removing everything what I added earlier. App-data types, selector of my component. Save. Let's try to access our application. Also, let's go to double zero. Save. Right. So here you can see data type works, means my data type component is getting loaded. Now, how many data types we had in JavaScript? How many data types we had in JavaScript?
7.
Primitive now.
String
Primitive and non-primitive.
Primitive, non-primitive. In primitive, what were there?
Number, string, boolean,
Right?
Boolean.
null,
Number,
undefined.
string, boolean, and
Null, undefined.
date. So in YouTube comment, I have got a comment by someone saying date is not date doesn't come into primitive. Anyone knows that date doesn't come into primitive? I know it doesn't come into primitive, but overall, if we see, we can include date in primitive also, because date is ultimately object. And where does object goes? In non-primitive, right? If you check the prototype of date, it points to the object, na? But by that logic, everything you would declare in JavaScript points to the object only. We will see that interview preparation, what is prototype. Okay, but again, just for basic understanding, we can include our, because again, when we talk about date, even if it points to the object, it hold limited number of data only, right? So no one will argue that date is not primitive or not. Date is primitive only. Fine. Now, so in JavaScript, we used to create variable like this, where course name is equal to something, right? This is how we used to create the variable in JavaScript. Now in TypeScript, we don't need this word, where. That's it. This is your variable declaration in TypeScript. No need to use that where. The remaining things are same. Your variable name is equal to whatever the value you want to give. Clear? Then course roll number is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I hover on this course name, you can see colon string. If you hover on the roll number, colon number. Okay. Then is active is equal to true. See, Boolean. Current date, new date. This is how we get the current date in JavaScript also. Same thing is over here. See, date. So these are your 4 primitive data types. How we create the variable in TypeScript. Whatever you had it in JavaScript, same thing applies over here. We don't have any separate data type. We'll see that. We have just to strongly type. Fine. This is one way to declare the variable. But remember when I said TypeScript supports you or provide additional thing, that is strongly typing. What do we mean by strongly typing? In JavaScript, if you create a variable and while initializing, you store a string value. After some line, you can store integer value also over here in this variable. So we don't have restriction over there, like only this type of data can get stored into particular variable or not. We don't have restriction. But in TypeScript, we have. See, I'm creating constructor. What is constructor? What is constructor? You might have, everyone comes from the technical education, C, C++, some technology you might have learned while doing engineering or MC or whatever. What is constructor?
It performs the instruction the first time it comes in.
Right? Anyone else? Constructor? Constructor is kind of a method or a function which execute by default whenever your class object is getting created. You know, in C, C++, we had this. Whenever your class object is created, constructor will execute by default, right? Same thing follows over here too. Whenever we create an object of this class, means we don't create object of the class here because it's a component. So whenever your component get initialized, your constructor is the first thing which will execute by default. It's kind of a function without a name. Okay, and it will execute by default. Fine. Now, here, if I try to access this, we are inside a TypeScript class. See, if you want to access any variable or function declared in your class, you access by this keyword. Okay, in JavaScript, we have this keyword, but I have not explained it. We will see this keyword in the interview preparation. Okay, so this will point to the class. Now, whatever things are there in your class that you can access by the dot operator. See, this dot. Once I give the dot operator, see all the variable it is suggesting. If I use course name equal to, and if I'm trying to store your string value, it is allowing me to do that. Okay. Next line, this dot course name, if I'm trying to store number value, I'm getting compilation error warning. So what it says, type number is not assignable to type string. Because what is the data type of this? Whatever the initialized value we assign for the first time, that data type it will take it over here. See, what is the data type of course name? String. So you cannot store number. Got it? So this thing was not there in JavaScript, but we have it over here. This is what we call strongly type. Okay. Strongly type. This is just a beginning of strongly type. Again, we have so much of things, class, interface, right? So we will see that one by one. Just a minute. So this is not allowed. Okay. This is one way of declaring variable. Another way is here we didn't specify what type of data it is going to hold, but what data type it is going to take, whatever the value we have stored first time. One more way is there. Product name colon, then your data type string. Then you can provide a value mobile product. So see, this is one way how you declare a variable where variable name equal to directly value. The data type of this variable will be whatever the value you stored first. Here, explicitly you have said, okay, what will be the data type of this variable? String. Now you cannot store number also over here. Because what data type you said? String. So you can only store number, string type of data only. So this is one way to create a variable. This is another way where you are providing the proper data type. Clear? Is product available? Colon boolean is equal to false. Okay. Just like number and date will be also there. Clear, everyone? This is, we will call it as a variable or declaration plus initialization. Okay. This we will consider as directly initialization. Okay. Because we directly create and initialize also. What instead of this is also declaration, but declaration plus data type we will say plus initialization. Okay. Do we have any another way? Do we have any another way? We have, let's say, product price colon number. So I just declared it. I'm not assigning any value. Okay. So if you do like this, then it will show you an error. Product property price has no initialization and is definitely not assigned in the constructor. So it is saying key, it doesn't have any initial value also, and you have not assigned any value in the constructor also. So once I assign any value to the construct inside the constructor, that error will go away. Understood? So we will categorize these as declaration only. Okay. So these are the three ways how we can create a variable. Initialization directly, the data type it will take whatever the first value you initialize. Here, explicitly you are specifying what data type this variable can be. What is the container? What type of data we are going to allow? Here, we just created the variable with data type, but we didn't initialize. One more way is also there, but we don't normally use it. That's a bad practice. Student. Right? Then this dot student is equal to object or something. So this is also way, but we don't use it. Okay, so let's not focus on that. Clear? This is how you create your all the variable in your TypeScript. And this is how you access. Let's say you want to print it. Console.log. In JavaScript, you are directly accessing the variable, but here we cannot directly access the variable. Variables are declared inside the class. So on the this dot, only you can access the variable course name. Let's say, see, React.js, it is printing line number 28. Line number 28, readjust. Clear? This is how you access the variable by using this.
Actually, one doubt.
Yeah.
Suppose if we not assign the value of the constructor, how can we avoid the error?
Suppose,
If we are not assign the value in the constructor
let's say
for
like this,
yes. Suppose we not assign
it
the
will give
value.
error. Your application will stop because you have an error, na? Compile time.
Is there any other way to avoid error?
You will assign the value over here.
Oh,
Get it?
oh,
Either
oh.
you assign the value
Mm.
or over here while declaring, or you assign it in the constructor.
Oh.
Got it? Yeah. Fine. So this is how we access the variable. This is how we change the variable value. So your primitive data type like string, number, boolean, date, one way of declaring variable. This is another way of declaring variable. Okay. This is how we access the variable. Now come back to your again null, undefined, nan. Same things are over here also. Okay. Let me quickly show you that also. One more thing, any. Okay. Now let's say you have to create a variable, but what type of data you are going to assign to that variable, you cannot be sure. Sometimes you might store string value, sometimes you might store number value, sometimes you might store integer or anything. Value what you are going to store into your variable is not decided. Runtime you are going to assign any value. So in that case, any of it won't work because these are allowing only specific data type to get store value, right? So we have one more data type. We will call it as any. It says student colon any. Okay, just the name any. See, with the any, it is not giving error to initialize. But with other variable data type, it was giving error. Okay. Now see, in constructor, this dot, your student, I can store string also. Again, in the next line, this dot student is equal to true. See, no restriction. We just like how it was behaving in your JavaScript, it is behaving the same. Got it? So any is a type of data where you can store any type of data, no restriction. But we should not use it unless, as I told you the scenario, okay, you don't have control what type of data you are going to store. Then only you can go for any. Otherwise, we should never use any. That is the first rule of TypeScript. We should not use any. They have provided any, but for the special circumstances only. When you don't know what type of data you are going to store, then only you have to go for any. Make sense? Clear, everyone? Employee is equal to null. You know, that other data type. Product is equal to undefined. What else we have? Is num is equal to nan. Nan we cannot assign directly, I think. We can assign out also. Okay. So these extra data types we have. It's not data type, it's kind of a value. What is the difference between null and undefined? This is an intro question, right? What is the difference between null and undefined? Those who are giving interviews?
Null means there is no value of the variable. Undefined means the variable has been defined, but the value has not been assigned with.
Your voice comes. You are not using headphone. Use headphone while talking because voice is echoing. So we are not able to understand.
Can you
Null
hear
is
me,
a
sir?
value and undefined.
The variable has been defined, but the value has not been defined yet.
Okay. Anyone else? One part is correct, other is wrong. Anyone else? What is null and undefined?
Sir, in undefined, we only declare declaration part, but in null, we assign the value of variable null.
Not quite correct. See, null is a kind of a value. Don't consider this. Okay. Let me remove it. Now, if I ask you what is null and undefined, so null is considered as a value, valid value. Okay. But undefined means the value is not initialized yet. In that case, it will be undefined. In variable, in JavaScript, if you create the variable and before initializing that variable, you are trying to access it. What do we get? Undefined, because that value is not initialized yet. If you have function with 3 parameter, and while calling the function, you are just passing 1 parameter. Other 2 parameters are undefined because you didn't pass the value. So undefined means the value is not defined yet. But null is a kind of value. Sometimes we assign null value just to make sure add an if else check. Okay, null is a kind of a value. That is the definition you can set. And NN means whatever the variable you have, that is not a number. To identifying the variable value is a number or not. So that is NN. Okay, but we don't normally assign like this. Sometimes we assign like this, but NN we don't assign. Fine. Now we have.
Can you repeat?
Yeah.
Please? Null and undefined.
Your voice. Come
Can you
again.
please repeat null and undefined?
Null will be treated as a value. We can say null is a value, but undefined, we cannot say ki undefined is the value. Means your variable is not defined yet, so that state will be undefined. Okay, so null we can consider as a value. Okay, now, so your non-primitive array and object. So your object. So student detail. For now, I'm going with any. Okay, we create class or interface instead of any. But till that time, I will be using any until we are not explain. I have not explained you class and interface. I will be using any. Fine. Now, object again, whatever you do, whatever you used to do in JavaScript, same it will be like that. Name, value, city, Pune, state, image. Okay, this is your object. Again, we don't have any restriction, but again, we cannot have a space, right? It cannot start with the number. Same, whatever the rules we have discussed in JavaScript, same follows over here also. Okay. One more. So we can have a space inside key, but if it is enclosed in a double quote like this. Okay. This is just a tricky question. Sometimes they ask in the interview. Can we have a space in key name inside object? Yes, but that key name should be enclosed in a double quote. Then only it is allowed. Okay. Now, this is your object. Then we have array. Let's say city list array we have to store. What is the array? String array. So string square bracket like this. Say in case of normal variable, what you did? Single instance. Here array. So string array. What type of array? String array. Okay. So Pune, Nagpur. Like this. Okay. This is your string array. Roll number list. Colon number array. 1, 1, 1, 2. Now I cannot store string value over here because what is the data type of array? What are data I said? Number only. So I cannot store string element over here. Got it? This is strongly typing. Clear everyone? Now again your method which are from array string, push, pop, shift, unshift, slice, splice, everything stays the same. No change in that. Filter, find, everything stays the same. So that's what I said. When we talk about TypeScript, we don't have to learn TypeScript separately. Some things are there which are different, so that we are seeing. Okay.
The
Clear,
roll
everyone?
number, सर
Hmm.
सर अगर रोल नंबर एरे में नंबर की जगह आपने एनी लिखा होता
Still it will work. Okay.
तो वो तो काम करेगा अगर ये एक वैल्यू ऑफ स्ट्रिंग डाल सकते थे क्या फिर उसमें
Yes, that's what I said. Na, ki string, when you go with any, there is no restriction. Okay. Any type of data you can store. Any combination, number, date, boolean, array of object, anything. Clear, everyone? What data types we have in TypeScript? Anyone having any doubt now?
So directly we can access the value like in console.log if we don't want to define in constructor like this dot student ABC
Where you are saying?
um,
Instead of
in
constructor, mean
constructor
directly over here?
and directly no
Ah.
yes
No. See, we are
in
working
constructor
on,
only.
yes, we are, yeah, in constructor you can access, na? See,
Okay.
we are
No,
accessing
if
value.
we don't access with this dot
No, we
student is
cannot
equals to
access.
a.
See, console. This is mandatory.
Okay.
All the variables you will be able to access on the this only.
State.
So if you
state.
try to access roll number
This
list,
dot is state. Okay.
it will give you error. It won't understand what is roll number list. Okay. Then you have to create a local variable inside the constructor. Okay. Local variable means, how do we create local variable? How do we create local variable? Pooja, you are giving interviews, right?
Yes. No.
Okay, Pooja Tagi. You are not Pooja Tagi?
Yes, I'm Pooja Tyagi, but still I'm not giving
Okay, fine.
because I'm preparing.
Other people who are giving interviews, what is local variable?
We can access globally like this.
No. Let's say this is constructor. Here I have to create a local variable. How do we create a local variable?
Let and constant dot.
Let and constant na. Let's say same variable I'm creating. It will give you error. It is saying for any as okay. Now, when you are accessing this variable, this is not accessing this. This is accessing your local variable. Okay. Local variable inside function inside constructor, you don't need to access on this. Directly you can access. But the variable which are declared globally above on the class, you have to access with the this only. This is your local variable. Let const. Again, we don't use var. Okay. Student name. Okay. This is your local variable. You can access directly. Clear?
Yes, but we can access the class variables, right?
Yeah,
Directly
on the
in
this.
constructor.
This
Okay.
only. Either it is constructor inside a function, everything. Class variable you can access by using this operator only.
Okay.
Okay. Local variable you can directly access. Anyone having any question now? Otherwise, I can move ahead with the next thing. Fine. And while doing the practice, whatever we did in JavaScript, again, I will share the, those who are new, I will share the task also. Create the component and do all the practice, whatever we have. First, as I said yesterday, create two projects. One project to do exactly what I did in while teaching. Another project you have to think and do the practice. Okay. So two projects you do parallelly. Those who are learning for the Angular for the first time, or you are already working on Angular, but you are struggling, do this practice. Even if it is basic, do it. Okay. Fine. Now we created variables. Just like that, we can create functions also. So how do we create a function? In JavaScript, we create function like this, function name. And if we have some parameter and then round bracket and curly bracket. Here, we don't need this function. That's it. Just like in variable, you don't need that var. Here, you don't need it function. This is your function. Print course name. This is your function. Always keep a habit of formatting your code. Just control all, right click and format selection. Keep this habit. Your code should also look proper. Okay. So in this function, I want to bring the your course name variable data. So console.log this dot course name. Okay. Now I have created a function. Inside that function, I'm trying to print the X variable also. Okay. Here I will add the message also inside console. This is from function. Will this function execute? It's not executing. See, that console is not coming. Why this function is not executing?
Because you're not called it.
Right? Same behavior what we have in JavaScript. Unless we invoke or call the function, it won't execute. But constructor was executing. So we didn't call constructor anywhere like this. Right? So constructor is a function which gets automatically executed whenever class object is created. In this case, whenever your component gets rendered, your constructor will execute. Now, since we don't event binding, we have not taken. So for now, in constructor, I will call the function this dot your function name, print name. See, variables you can see like this. What will be this symbol? Rectangle? No, no. This is your diagonal, correct? What is this symbol? Anyway, so see, your functions will be with this icon, your variable will be with this icon. Okay. So either it's a variable or a function, you will access it by this only. It's a function, so we have to invoke it. In JavaScript, we used to do like this, right? But here, everything we access by this. Okay. Now your function will execute. See, this is from function reactJS. Means your function is getting executed. Clear? Let's say print text, and this function will have the parameter. So everywhere, whenever you declare a variable or even a parameter, let's say message, here also you can keep your data type. It's just not your variable where you provide the data type. In case of parameter also, you have to go give the data type. See, alert, whatever the message you get in this variable, that you will show it over here. Now, when I call this function, this dot print text, what is it? What it is expecting? String type of data. But if I pass 1 to 3, say I'm getting error. So this is your strongly typing. This thing was not available in JavaScript, but we have it in TypeScript. Strongly typing, because you have control over everything. What data type you should, what type of value you should expect, what type of value you should store. Strongly typing. Major feature of your TypeScript. Okay. So now whenever you are calling this function, you can only pass, if I enclose this, but this is number only, right? Why it is allowing? Why it is allowing?
Sir, because we use single quotes.
Right?
Yes.
Whenever you write single quote or double quote, whatever you entered, either it's a number, date, Boolean value, it will be treated as a string only. Okay. This I'm calling this dot print text. Here I will say this is sample text. Now I'm calling this function 2 times. Let me add a debugger also so that you can see same behavior what we had it over there. See, 1, 2, 3 we got, that we are displaying. Then second time function we called, we passed this value that we got. Okay. So whatever you know from JavaScript, it stays the same, just that in case of function, that function keyword should not be there. When you are creating a variable, var should not be there. When you are accessing, you have to access with this. That is the difference. Clear all? When we created a function, add to number. In JavaScript, we have seen this. num1 colon number. num2 colon number. Okay. And we will say it is returning the value. Return num1 plus num2. See, parameter we don't access on the this. Just like local variable, directly we can access. Parameter also you will directly access. This only global variable and the function or inside the class. Okay. Now this function, I'm calling it over here. 2, 5. Is this correct? This function, I'm calling like this. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yes.
How it is correct? How come it is correct?
So pass a number.
This function is returning something. And we are calling like this. Is this correct? We have wasted one day on the function. I have just explained functions only on that day. Try to remember what we did in JavaScript. This is very basic, guys. I have a function which is returning something. I'm calling this function like this. Is it correct or no?
Wrong. Answer wrong.
No. This function is
We have
returning
to
something,
store
na?
this. Yes,
Nah.
we have to store this with
We need to store
variable.
it, na?
We didn't get any
Yes,
value
yes.
because we are not storing.
Right? So function will execute, but that is returning something. So you have to catch it, na? So constant value like this. Understood? So if this is returning something, you have to catch it, na? So whenever you have a function which is returning something, that you store it into another variable like this, so that whatever it returns, that gets stored over here. Okay. Alert addition value. Okay, 2 and 5 I have passed. I should get 7. Okay. Now, one more time I'm calling that function. Constant value 2. This dot add 2 number. This time I'm just passing 4. It is giving me error. In JavaScript, if a function has 3 parameters and while calling the function, if we are passing just 2 or 3 parameters, was it giving error?
No.
Right? We were not getting error. But here you will get error. How many parameter it needs? 2. So we have to pass 2 parameters. But let's say I don't want to pass the second parameter. So is there any way we can handle that? In JavaScript, how we used to handle this?
Default value.
Default value, right? So here also you can do the same thing. Number equal to 0. See, your error is not there now. Okay. So in JavaScript also, to the parameter we used to assign the default value. So if you, while calling it, you are passing 1, on num4 you will get 4, and num2 will be treated as 0 then. Clear?
Sir, we can use rest operator also, na?
Yeah, that we use if you want to pass n number of parameter, where number of parameter is not decided. Sometimes you will pass 2, sometimes you will pass 3, sometimes you can pass 20 parameter also. That is the use of rest operator.
Okay, sir.
So one way is you are initializing a default value to the parameter. Okay. Another way, add numbers. Num1 from num2 number. Fine. So I have a function with 3 parameters. I will return the sum also. Num1 plus num2 plus num3. Fine. So we have 3 parameters. I'm doing the addition of it. While calling it, let's say sometimes I might pass 1 parameter or 2 parameter. 1, 2. Third parameter is optional. Sometimes I pass, sometimes I might not pass. So we can add question mark over here. So this become optional parameter. It won't give you error while calling it by adding a question mark, meaning third parameter is optional. Understood? But why it is giving error over here now on num3? Because if it is optional and you are not passing it, what will be the value of num3? I'm calling this function over here, but I'm passing only 2 parameters. But this function has 3 parameters. Even if we said optional, so what will be the default value now over here?
Undefined.
Undefined. Undefined, na? See, this is the parameter. You are passing just 2 parameters. Third parameter you are not passing, so it will be undefined. So can we do the addition of undefined? That why it is giving error. Null is possibly undefined. So we cannot do the addition of undefined. Okay. So then you add a if and else check. If num3 is not equal to undefined. If it is not undefined, this line of code you will do. Now we added the undefined check, so it is not giving error. Else, if it is undefined, we will just do the sum of two numbers only. Understood? Either you initialize the variable value like this, or you can make parameter optional also by adding a question mark. Clear, everyone? Anything I'm missing now in function and variable basic thing? See, this is basic, right? So why JavaScript was important? Okay. JavaScript, having the basic knowledge of JavaScript, not the interview preparation material I'm saying. Very pure JavaScript. How do you create function? What is default value? What is question mark, right? What is return statement? What it does? Most of you were not able to answer me this. If function is returning, we have to store it. How much basic was that? And we have seen that also in JavaScript. So you practice that much, then you get that quickly. You are able to recall, yeah, if a function is there and it is returning, we have to store it. In interview, they are asking random questions now. So you have to be very attentive. Everyone knows, those who are currently giving interview, you are getting so many less call, right? Consider if you want to look for a change, even if you are immediate joiner, weekly you are going to get only 2-3 calls, right? And out of 2-3 call, one of the call might get actually converted into an interview. Again, in next 2 weeks, there is no possibility that you will get another interview plan also. So whatever the first interview you get, that your practice should be up to that mark. That first interview should be up to the end. You should get offer unless that people are actually hiring. They are not doing the fake hiring. So your first interview should get cracked. That is what preparation you should have. In last 1 year, I have done changes in 2 times. Both the time, almost first or second company which approached me, they only gone to the last position. I used to get call, I used to give interviews only, but only 1 or 2 companies only gone till the last process. Last time Agiliad and this time Vertical. No other company gone to everyone was taking first round, then no one was receiving calls after that, even if I cleared. So these things are happening. So keep your preparation up to that level. You might know after 1 year what things will happen, how interviews will change. Most we have. Who has given that AI test? Damini, right? Now AI test is also there. First round is AI only. Who has given Damini apart from that? Anyone have faced AI test first round? I also never given. Damini, how it is like?
I also
It,
given.
it detects your technical terms, and on that basis they evaluate. So you need to be very clear with your answer.
Means that AI tool will provide text answer, means question, and you have to speak, right?
No.
हाँ.
Not like that. जो भी वो क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे उसके अंदर जो उनके जो कोड रहते हैं, लाइक पर्टिकुलर उस आंसर के रिलेटेड
है
टेक्निकल
कि नहीं?
वर्ड्स रहते
हाँ,
हैं,
टेक्निकल वर्ड्स.
हाँ उसके हिसाब से वो इवेल्युएट करते हैं. सो आपको उसके हिसाब से आंसर देना है.
But how does
So
question come? In a text you come, then you speak, or you have to write it? How it is?
both the AI
Okay,
will
so
say, and आपको टेक्स्ट में भी दिया रहेगा, फिर आपको रिकॉर्ड करना है.
okay.
उसके बाद 5 सेकंड के बाद, अगर 5 सेकंड में आपने पॉज दिया, कुछ नहीं बोला, तो आपके पास फिर से स्टार्ट करने के लिए ये नहीं है.
Got it. Okay. So see, I have not faced, but Damini has faced, and I don't know, others might have faced or not. But first round, most of the companies, LTI is also doing that. Anyone have given LTI?
Yeah, I'm only
Yeah,
giving.
you only give,
Today
no?
I have. Yes.
Right? So LTA is also having the same. So they don't want to waste the time of the interviewer. See, I will tell you my thing also. We are hiring for React Native. Okay. In our company, there is no person for native. This is the first time they have got the project. But React.js concept and React Native are almost same. So I'm taking the interview of that. Every day they are giving me 2 interviews. I have two interviews, means 2 hours is going to the interview. Then I have one internal scrum com that also gives to the 1 hour. So 3 hours is there. In evening, again, we have a scrum call that also long, at least 45 minutes. So 4 hours going into calls only. And with that 4 hours now, my energy is almost lost. So I don't get time to work also. So companies are trying to get rid of that first level of round also. Because most of the time, even if people are saying 10 years of experience, they are not able to answer hosting and closure and what is callback and what is pure function. So my time is wasting. Because when I start the interview, I ask JavaScript question. Even if in the JavaScript he is not able to answer, still I have to carry on till next 30 minutes. Na? I cannot directly wind up. So my time is wasting. So companies are getting AI. But in case of AI, you have to be very prompt. If you know the answer, you have to speak very clearly, and you have to always look into the camera also. You cannot look outside. If you look anywhere else, now it will stop it. It will give you warning 1 or 2 times. Still, you are looking outside. It will stop your interview. That's it. That company again won't call you again. Right? So make sure and while giving interviews also normal. Don't look anywhere else. Keep your eye contact on the camera itself, because so many tools are there which will show you the answer. If you interviewer will say the question, right? It can read the question and it can show you the answer on the screen also. If he thinks that you are reading, when you read, your pupils will move, right? He can understand. I can understand. If someone is reading from somewhere, I can understand. So they might stop you, or they won't tell you that are you cheating? They will come up with their hard question then. So make eye contact to the camera when you're giving interviews. Okay. Fine. So today we have discussed little bit of variable declaration, data type, how do we create function, how do we call it. Yeah, Pallavi, any questions?
Yeah, so TypeScript you are telling along with this one only, right?
TypeScript, you are
This
telling
is
me along with?
This is TypeScript only, right?
Yes.
Right now. Okay. So the LET, right? What is the difference between LET and const?
Let and const, na? These are just like in JavaScript, we can create variable with var, right? Just like that, we can create variable with let and constant also. Okay. In interview preparation, we will again see that. But in Angular, we use it most. Whenever you have to create a variable inside a function. So you will create with let. Local variable. The variables which you are going to need just for the function. Okay. So you create variable with let and const. Const you use when you don't want to change the variable. Let you use when you have to change the variable value also.
Yeah.
We'll see that
And
in
this
interpretation.
filters, maps, and those we will be using here.
Same
Functions
thing.
like
Whatever you
reduce.
have from JavaScript, na same thing one. Filter, find, include, map, reduce, everything was the same in TypeScript also.
Okay.
So
Fine.
in a second project, right? Like you said, one project we will do whatever you have taught. In second project, like for now, can we do something, or you'll give assignment for that?
First project, I will complete. Means you also have to complete, but every day I will write the code also and I will try to complete that. Okay. While completing, I will explain the topics also. You also have to do the parallel. Second project, I will explain everything. I will explain every day. I will explain the API. Whole
तो
project I will
मतलब
explain.
आपने बोला ना 2 प्रोजेक्ट, मतलब
वही
आपने
तो
कल भी
बता रहा
बोला
हूँ.
था.
सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट सुनो ना. सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट मैं पूरा एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. API I will explain everything. I will explain. You have to do that. I won't do anything in that. Clear? Fine. Let's connect tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow is Saturday. Let me know if you want to connect or no, or you need time to practice.
Sir, we will connect, sir. Yeah, practice time to be there.
I will ask. Sorry, what you said? You will connect or no?
Sir, we can connect, sir. We can connect.
Okay, again, I will ask that. ask the question in the group, just respond. Okay, we will go with the majority. Okay,
Saturday,
fine.
Saturday and Sunday is for interview preparation. No?
Yeah, sorry. We cannot take session. Interview preparation is there. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. Okay. So tomorrow, last Saturday, Sunday, I think we have completed hosting, right? Now, closure I
Yes.
will explain tomorrow. Again in Saturday, either in the afternoon or in the night, we will connect for second topic. But closure and function. So two topics are targeted for tomorrow. Okay.
Recording for that hoisting is not there.
There, I will share you in the group. Fine. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.